Hello, I'm Pastor Jerome Davison, and I want to welcome you to my program. I want to talk real briefly, real quickly about Robert Mueller. I want to give you my take on his press conference, and I want to talk about why he's doing. I want to talk about his timing and what I sense is going on with Robert Mueller. So here we go. After 2.5 years of taking the country through major division, major turmoil, keeping the country on its heels, we had a lot of things going on, and we have a lot of things going on even in this present hour. We have a border that is overrun with millions and millions of illegals, which we need to deal with. We had international problems with Russia. We were almost at war with them. And you remember the time with Russia and Syria where President Trump released 50 bombs over there. And then we went over and dropped the mother of all bombs in Afghanistan. We had a lot of international stuff going on. And here we are now in financial war, economic wars with China, who has been stealing our information, taking billions of dollars of our money. And here we are on the brink of war with nations. And America, in the heart of America, we have this pull for power by the Democrat power and one man by the name of Robert Mueller. Robert Mueller came out of the press conference. He finally crawled from under his rock. He finally slithered from under his stone like a snake. He comes out very slithery, very slimy. And he has one intent, and that is before he leaves, before he closes down shop, before he lets everything go, he wants to smear some more slime on President Donald Trump. Now, mind you, they have investigated for 2.5 years trying to find any crime on this man. It started out with Russia collusion. You know, collusion isn't a crime. But what was the predicate for all of this? Collusion, which there was no collusion. And he says it in his report, there's no collusion. They knew there was no collusion, but they feigned it so that they can cover up the fact that they were spying on him because he became the president and they knew this information was going to come out. So now they got to go forward with this hoax. Okay, they investigated him. So not only does Donald Trump not smoke, he doesn't drink, but apparently, as he said, I don't do cover-ups and I don't do crimes. After 2 years of investigating, they couldn't find anything on him or his family. So they started doing with these people and breaking in their homes overnight, breaking into their offices and finding old crimes on them that had nothing to do with Russia. Now, if we investigated Hillary, all it takes is 1 week to find a crime. If we investigated Robert Mueller, all it takes is 1 week to find a crime. He took that uranium, he personally delivered 20% of our uranium to Russia. He did it. You want to investigate crime? James Comey, criminal. You want to investigate crime? James Clapper, a liar. Any of these guys, McCabe, all these guys have lied and colluded with Russia and colluded amongst themselves, CIA, FBI, to bring down Donald Trump. Okay, so I'm going to play it and I'm going to comment on it, but I want to say this, that number one, this press conference was totally unnecessary. It was not necessary at all. Mueller says it himself that my final words are in my report. He should walk off the scene. We don't want to hear any more from you. You don't have anything else to add to this. You've done your job. You've smeared the president. You've held the country back. Okay, you hurt us enough, but that's not enough for you. Okay? But anyway, so number one, it was unnecessary. Number two, Robert Mueller proves that he is biased. He's very biased by saying that if we were confident that the president did not commit a crime, we would have said so. That was very evil, and it was very, it was planned. That was a planted word. That's not necessary. If someone was investigating me for something that somebody said I did, and the prosecutor continued to try to smear me, but at the end says that there was no crime, but yet they were saying, oh, well, we totally can't say that he didn't commit the crime. That's unnecessary. Either you find a crime, You find evidence of a crime, or you don't, or you walk. He didn't do that. He's biased. He's been working with the Democrats. He's been working with the media the whole time. The false prophet media, as I call them. They are very evil, and these people are helping to bring down the country. All he should have said was that our investigation found no evidence of a crime, and that's it. There was no collusion. Thus, there could be no misleading the investigation. He couldn't mislead the investigation into a crime because there was no crime. You see what I'm saying? There was no obstruction. What did he obstruct? If you're going to come to me and say that I obstructed your investigation into my life or some crime that you say I did, well, then you come out and say that I didn't commit a crime, and then you turn around and try to say that I obstructed it, is insanity. It doesn't make any sense. And I hope they try to impeach him. And then number three, the timing of it. And I want to talk about the timing of it. But let's listen to a little bit of this.
Asked
Robert
me
Mueller
to serve as special counsel, and he created the special counsel's office.
He's talking about rat-faced Rodstein. And a lot of people think since that Rodstein came out and said something positive for President Trump and had some part in the Barr report, that he was actually working for the president the whole time. He wasn't. He wasn't. Because if he was, why would he appoint a slithering snake like this Mueller, who I call mule-faced Mueller?
Directed the office to investigate Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election.
It wasn't Russia interference. It was American intelligence interference.
This included investigating any links or coordination between the Russian government and individuals associated with the Trump campaign. Now, I have not spoken publicly during our investigation.
He has. When they was leaking, it was coming from Mueller's office. So there was a lot of speaking with the media. There was a lot of backdooring and conniving going on. As a matter of fact, you remember when that CNN was out in front of Roger Stone's house? That was the Mueller team that released that information.
I'm speaking out today because our investigation is complete. The Attorney General has made the report on our investigation largely public.
Largely public. It was only 2.5%, maybe 3% redacted. And here you have the House that is led by Democrats asking for them to totally unredact the report, which is a crime itself.
We're formally closing the special counsel's office, and as well, I'm resigning from the Department of Justice to return to private life.
This man is totally unsure of himself. This is supposed to be the man. This is supposed to be the man who knows the law inside and out. He's supposed to know everything. And if he was so intimately familiar with his work and what he did as far as investigating this stuff, he won't look up at the camera. He will not present himself to the camera as a confident man. This man has no confidence. This man appears to be forced to have gone out here in front of America and in the world and have done this. But he's not really forced, because he really wants President Donald Trump to go down. He wants the country to go down, and he wants his crimes, the FBI's crimes, James Comey's crimes, and possibly President Obama's crimes to be covered up. And of course, Hillary.
I'll make a few remarks about the results of our work. But beyond these few remarks, it is important that the office's written work speak for itself.
Well, if it spoke for itself, why are you giving this press conference? If the report has said everything that it was going to say, which you got up and just simply repeated, but you just emphasized what I was talking about, if we had confidence that President Trump did not commit a crime, you just came out to emphasize that, to throw the media, which is nothing but piranha. You threw some meat out to your demonic piranha to keep this thing going, because they was running out of steam. They was running out of material. The Russia hoax story was running out of steam, and they needed you, their false prophet, the master, to come out and just give them a little more push, which he did. And now the media is going crazy.
Let me begin where the appointment order begins, and that is
That's
interference
very important. That's an important word. The appointment order. This is what Rodstein ordered him to do.
in the 2016 presidential election. As alleged by the grand jury in an indictment, Russian intelligence officers who were part of the Russian military launched a concerted attack on our political system.
Where is the evidence of that? See, when these people come out and do stuff like this, and they tell us, the FBI and the CIA, they just tell us that somebody did something. But have you seen any evidence that these military people from Russia hacked into any computers? But did you even see the Facebook ads? Have you seen any evidence of that? Which was $100,000 worth. $100,000 worth of ads to support a political candidate compared to the $40 million and the division and trouble that our country has faced over this hoax.
The indictment alleges that they used sophisticated cyber techniques
Sophisticated.
to hack into
Facebook.
computers and networks used by the Clinton campaign.
Okay. Where is the server? Where is the server that the Democrat Party say was hacked into? Where is it? If this man was so focused on finding Russia interference, if it all began with the DNC server and them hacking into their computers, where is the server? Why haven't we seen that? If that's where the problem started, if this is what you were investigating, why didn't he include this information in his report? They'll mention it real quick and they'll jump off of it and go right into something else because they know it's nothing but a cover-up, and they know that there's some information on that DNC server that the FBI has been hiding and is still haven't surfaced. The president has been tweeting about it. He haven't tweeted about it in quite a while. If I were him, I would tweet about it and ask about this server. Now that you have Barr in office, President Donald Trump, please find that server. I have a feeling that Christopher Wray is covering it up, and we got to get rid of that guy. He's a plant, and he's very evil. You can see it in his face.
They stole private information and then released that information through fake online identities and through the organization WikiLeaks.
Where's the proof of that?
The releases were designed and timed to interfere with our election and to damage a presidential candidate. And at the same time as the grand jury alleged in a separate indictment, a private Russian entity engaged in a social media operation where Russian citizens posed as Americans in order to influence an election.
Now, you remember when Rat-Faced Rodstein came out a year ago and stood before America, and we thought that perhaps this was going to be the end of the Mueller report. Rodstein comes out and says the very same thing that this report says, that there were no Americans knowingly involved in colluding with Russia. That could have ended it a year ago. But they wanted to keep it going so that they can win the House and possibly the Senate. But they just won the House, and the Republicans kept the Senate. They have robbed America of having people in that House that belong in that House, that help vote policies through, that are pro-America and keeping this country going and moving forward. So this man, Robert Mueller, was complicit in robbing America of having people who rightfully belong in political seats in the House to help keep the progress of this country going forward.
These indictments contain allegations, and we are not commenting on the guilt or the innocence of any specific defendant.
Listen to what he said. This is crazy. I'm going to play it again. Listen, because I interfered. Listen to what he says here. He's not going to comment on the guilt or innocence of them, but he commented on the guilt or innocence of President Donald Trump, and he allowed the media to come out and say that this man committed treason and that he lied and that he's a conniver and that all of these things. He allowed them to say that against our president, but he won't allow them to say whether they were guilt or innocent against the Russians. These Russians. Listen.
Innocence of any specific defendant. Every defendant is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty.
They said that Trump was guilty the whole time.
Online and identities and through the organization WikiLeaks. The releases were designed and timed to interfere with our election and to damage a presidential candidate. And at the same time as the grand jury alleged in a separate indictment, a private Russian entity engaged in a social media operation where Russian citizens posed as Americans.
I would like to see those ads. I would, if we're paying for this stuff and we're paying for it, and we're going through the turmoil of being divided as a country. Some people feel like President Donald Trump did this crime, and those of us who clearly see that this is political was defending our president, wanting the country to move forward. So it kept us at odds. So now, show us the evidence that these people committed, even show us the ads that they did it. Show us the ads that they purchased. Let us see that. Something as simple as that. These people, Robert Mueller, have not shown us any evidence that this even took place. Could it be that the hackers into the DNC was the FBI or the CIA? Could it be? Don't put anything past John Brennan. Don't put anything past Robert Mueller. Don't put anything past James Comey.
Americans in order to influence an election. These indictments contain allegations, and we are not commenting on the guilt or the innocence of any specific defendant. Every defendant is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty. The indictments allege, and the other activities in our report describe, efforts to interfere in our political system. They needed to be investigated and understood, and that is among the reasons why the Department of Justice established our office.
You notice he says the word efforts. If they were successful, which the way the media and even Robert Mueller is trying to present this thing, they would say it conclusively that they actually did it. But they use these little word semantics. They play these little word games. If.
That is also a reason we investigated efforts to obstruct the investigation. The matters we investigated.
Now listen, he goes into that. The first part of this Robert Mueller report was with collusion, and the second portion of it was with obstruction. Now he tells us that Rod, the rat-faced Rodstein, gives him, once they discovered that there was no collusion, that Rodstein gives him the power to say that President Trump committed obstruction. And their version of obstruction is a man defending his innocence on Twitter. He's defending himself. And he's telling people this is a witch hunt. This is a lie. I never did this. Nobody in my family did this. Nobody in my campaign did this. That's obstruction. Because what they want you to do is just lie there and let them lie on you, let them drag your name through the mud, and let them just destroy America.
The matters we investigated were of paramount importance.
Importance to the Democrats.
It was critical for us to obtain full and accurate information from every person we questioned. When a subject of an investigation obstructs that investigation or lies to investigators, it strikes at the core of their government's effort to find the truth and hold wrongdoers accountable.
If they lie or obstruct, they're trying to hide the truth. But President Trump gave them millions of papers and documents. He gave them access to his office, to his campaign leaders, to his family. How is that obstructing?
Let me say a word about the report. The report has two parts, addressing the two main issues we were asked to investigate. The first volume of the report details numerous efforts emanating from Russia to influence the election.
They planted those
This
people in
volume
that office.
includes a discussion of the Trump campaign's response to this activity, as well as our conclusion that there was insufficient evidence to charge a broader conspiracy.
That should be the end of it. Insufficient evidence to charge a broader conspiracy. Trump had nothing to do with it. Okay? Then that, with that being said, there's no obstruction. I'm not going to hold you much longer. The Robert Mueller conference will be on this video. I can go on and on and on. There's another 5 minutes of this 9-minute piece of garbage with Robert Mueller on here, and it's not even worth it. But America is tired of the games. We have people who are Americans in Houston, in LA, in Arizona, in New Mexico, in Texas, in Louisiana, who are homeless while this government and these political actors are giving housing, health care, and money and food and aid to people who do not even belong in this country. And we have to stop this. Even the Bible says that charity begins at home and then it spreads abroad. And if you're not treating your own citizens correctly, if you're not treating your own citizens in a caring manner, then why are you trying to spread care out to other people? You got to take care of home first. You got to take care of your own people first. And so you can't tell me that it's unchristian to want to take care of your own people first before we reach out. And that's all. Listen, that's all about keeping political power. These people, if this does not show you, this Robert Mueller coming out does not show you that these people are interested in power and they'll do anything and everything it takes to get in power and to stay in power, then nothing else will. This is the slimiest, sleaziest, dirtiest thing that I've seen. It's totally insane. And the reality of this, it hurts me every time because this is happening in our country. This country is great. This country is awesome. This country is wonderful, but it's being destroyed by people who are hungry for power, who hate people, and they hate the fact that we have a president who is giving the power back to the people. This government belongs to us. We pay for the government to watch over us, to protect us, to enforce laws that are meaningful and that protect us as citizens. Not to take power away from us and give it completely to a few people, the elite. So, this is crazy. This is totally insane. And the timing of this, and let me say this on the timing of this. Look at the timing of everything here. Robert Mueller, for one, is trying to keep this story out, to keep it hot, because the 2020 elections are coming. And they need this because if you notice this, the Democrats never have any policies to benefit people. They never have any policies to benefit people. They only try to keep the nation racially and sexually divided. That's it. That's it. They don't even make promises anymore to the black community. No promises. They don't even offer you anything, but they just say, hey, you don't want to have no more years of Trump, do you? They were the ones who are putting on blackface. They are the ones who are killing more black children in abortions. They are the ones that came out with policies under the Clintons that did more harm in the black community than the Jim Crow laws. That's the party of hate. And so this country can't get past race or sex because of these people. So now they're trying to keep that thing going. That's number one. And then number two is that Robert Mueller comes out the week after Barr and President Trump's orders all of the FBI stuff to be unredacted. That's right. They're trying to get out in front of this and to try to pull out a big smoke screen because the truth is getting ready to hit the fan. So get ready, y'all. Get your popcorn ready because, as I said in some of my videos earlier about Rice and James Comey, the 7-foot dummy, These people are getting ready to go to jail, and they need to go to jail for the crime and trouble they took this country through. And this Mueller report, this stuff is nothing but garbage. I write books, and if I can get somebody to pay me $40 million to write something as dumb and as elementary as that, I'd be glad to take it. That was one of the silliest, childish things you could, just reading it. It's nothing but a little smear campaign. It's like a high school little note talking bad about somebody else who didn't even commit the crime. You had 2.5 years to find something, anything on Trump, and you couldn't find anything. There was nothing there. And they're trying to keep it alive. Well, anyway, share the video, like and subscribe to the videos to my channel. We're going to keep it moving. We're going to keep it hot. And we're going to keep America great. It's Pastor Jerome.
And in the second volume,